Hey, what's up everyone? It's ReallyRick. Now, I know it's going to be hard to take me seriously with this mint julep mask on my face, but I just got out of the shower, and I have to do my whole morning heterosexual regimen, so please bear with me. I am very serious. The thing that I want to talk about today is Republican Congressman Ron Paul, who is currently a Republican candidate for president for 2008. Now, as I'm sure many of you know, Ron Paul has received just an enormous support from the internet. He's got this whole grassroots efforts going, and while he's certainly nowhere close to leading in any poll, he's definitely got a hardcore following. My question is, who are these people supporting Ron Paul? Now, they're obviously not the traditional conservative wing of the Republican Party. They could be independents, they could be his former party libertarians, and certainly they could be Democrats. Now, Ron Paul's main issue that he's getting a lot of attention for is his strict anti-war stance. He's very a strict constitutionist, and he's all about liberty and freedom, and I think those words are ringing into people's heads, and that's why they're so gung-ho about supporting him. I wonder if they've actually done any research on him and looked him up on the internet and seen his voting record, his stance on the issues. And if they do, I think a lot of these young Democrats, these young independents, might not be so, gung-ho with their support of Ron Paul. But let me tell you some of the issues and his positions on the issues that I have been able to find. First, on the issue of abortion, Ron Paul voted no on allowing human embryonic stem cell research. Ron Paul voted no on federal funding for abortion, and he has said he is strongly pro-life. In fact, he got a 0 rating by the NARAL, indicating a strict pro-life voting record. He voted yes on banning partial birth abortions. A horrible, horrible procedure, but one that sometimes is just unavoidable and is necessary. Ron Paul on civil rights, something that is certainly near and dear to my heart. Ron Paul voted yes on banning gay adoptions in the District of Columbia in July of 1999. Now, granted, that was 8 years ago, and maybe he's changed, but the fact of the matter is that he thought that gay people, gay and lesbians, were not qualified to adopt children. He voted yes on ending preferential treatment by race in college admissions. Basically, he's against affirmative action. Again, all you young people supporting him, you need to look into this guy. Again, on the topic of civil rights, Ron Paul voted no on $84 million in grants for black and Hispanic colleges. He voted yes on allowing school vouchers for private and parochial schools. Of course, he wants to abolish the Department of Education, and he supports a constitutional amendment on school prayer. Here's a good one. Ron Paul voted no on establishing nationwide Amber Alert systems for missing kids. What could he possibly have against? The Amber Alert. We've all seen it. How could you vote no on that? And of course, I'm sure this won't come as a surprise to many of you. He was given a rating of A by the National Rifle Association, indicating a strong pro-gun rights voting record. Paul would like to restore state representation in Congress. During a speech in New Hampshire in February of 2007, Paul called for a repeal of the 17th Amendment, the one that allows direct elections for U.S. senators. Ron Paul has been criticized at times for being the only dissenting vote against giving Pope John Paul, Rosa Parks, and Mother Theresa the Congressional Medal of Honor. The only one who thought that they just weren't worthy. On January 22, 2007, Paul was the lone member out of 415 voting to oppose a House measure to create a National Archive exhibit on slavery and Reconstruction. Think about it, people. But here's the real issue. Ron Paul's not going to win the Republican nomination. But what could happen is, with all of the support that he is getting off the internet, that he might decide to break off and run as an independent, a third-party candidate. And with all of these liberal Republicans and independents and maybe conservative Democrats supporting him, he's going to siphon off votes from the Democratic nominee and thus giving the election for the Republicans. It could happen. So here's what I want to tell you all. If you guys are supporting him because he's anti-war and he's strict, Constitution, there are other candidates out there for you. I urge you to look at some of the Democratic candidates running for president. I urge you to look at Mike Gravel, who's sort of the Democratic version of Ron Paul. I urge you to look at Dennis Kucinich. And I also urge you to look long and hard at the two, big candidates, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Both are anti-war. Both will get us out of Iraq. But they also still have the liberal leanings that is important. Appointing good people to the Supreme Court, keeping affirmative action, pro-gay rights, pro-abortion. This is the kind of person that we need in the White House after 8 years of a George Bush administration. So I challenge you, research, look up Ron Paul, and I think if you do, you will realize that Ron Paul is dangerous and he is not. We need to squelch this whole Ron Paul thing as soon as possible.